Hello everyone and welcome to the CarAlarm podcast, and for the first time ever, I will be reviewing NXT from July 11th, 2018. So before I start getting into the show, I thought about adding a new rating system. For now, I think I'll just keep it for NXT, and maybe later on I will expand it to Raw and SmackDown. So basically how it's going to work is I will be rating each match and significant segment based on, I guess, how much it added to the show. It's definitely a work in progress, but I'm going to test it out here. So consider 0, nothing at all being added to the show as far as positive or negative. Anything above 0 is somewhat positive. Obviously, the lower or the closer it is to 0, the less good it was, I guess. And anything in the negatives takes away from the show, so that'll all be factored into the overall show's rating, which will be tallied up at the end. So starting off the show, we have Adam Cole versus Danny Burch. And I have to say, I know a while back, I don't think I ever commented on this, so I like to say I know a while back people had trouble or problems with the North American Championship title belt. The way it looks is what I mean, not the function of it. I'm not sure if that feeling has gone away or people have gotten used to it or what. I haven't heard much about it, but I have to say I am a big fan of the look of it. I know it's a older kind of style, an old school wrestling style, and it has an old school name too. The North American Championship doesn't exactly ring modern wrestling. It kind of sounds more territorial, which I think that's cool too, and definitely welcome, especially at this point. If a title's ugly, of course, excluding the insulting Divas Championship, apart from that, even if a championship's ugly, I would accept it on the main roster, probably, just due to the fact that it would be unique, hopefully, as long as, it is unique. I wouldn't care what it looks like, as long as it's not insulting or unique. And what I would consider insulting would be the Divas Championship. But anyway, moving on to the match. It had a slow start for a while, but a few rest holds and a couple big moves. And then later on, Danny Burch would make his comeback and hit his Tower of London, which is a cutter while Adam Cole's feet are on the top rope or in the corner. Cole kicks out and comes back hitting some super kicks, neck breakers, and finally his running knee to the back of his opponent's head, which is apparently called the Last Shot. A terrible name for a finisher, I think. He gets the win off this, and overall, I'm going to say the match was fine. I gave it a 1.5. This is, by the way, the rating system. I don't have a minimum as far as how bad anything can be, and I don't have a maximum to determine how good something can be. Because I feel like breaking that maximum wouldn't really make much sense. So I don't want to do that. Because nothing can be better than the maximum amount of good, so at least that's my logic behind it. I guess everything's going to be rated off of this first match. Everything in the future, all will be determined by this match, which was fine. It definitely wasn't bad, but I don't think it was really anything too memorable. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 1.5. Like I said, 0 means it added nothing to the show. Negatives means it hindered the show, and the positives, I guess, mean that it was pretty good. So next we have Candice LeRae confronting Shayna Baszler in a pre-recorded outside segment, Candice LeRae is being interviewed as she walks till she runs into Shayna Baszler. Shayna tells Candice to stick to being a cute little sidekick, so in response, LeRae slaps her and the two begin brawling before quickly being pulled apart by outside crew members and some referees and possibly some civilians. So this segment was only about 2 minutes long. I didn't feel like it was significant enough to give a rating to it. Maybe I will think it over and have second thoughts later about whether or not to give ratings to the largely... Well, you know what? I guess I just described what a 0 is. So, I will give this segment a 0. It didn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a poorly done segment, so I don't think it deserves to be in the negatives, but it really didn't add anything for me as far as next week expecting something different than I would be expecting this week. So, there's that. Next, we have an interview with Dakota Kai and Lacey Evans to set up a match for next week. Again, this is a bit of a different situation. I feel like I have to explain the rules of my new rating system, both to myself and just to put it out there, have definitive guidelines to go by. This was maybe a 2-minute backstage interview. Doesn't deserve a rating, good, bad, or even a 0. I guess if it doesn't deserve a rating, it is just a 0. So there you go. Next, we have Kairi Sane versus Vanessa Bourne. And again, I have to say before the match, Kairi Sane's music is absolutely wonderful. Probably my favorite NXT music, alongside Velveteen Dream and maybe the Undisputed Era. It's just wonderful. I have a soft spot for pirates, so as a result, I have a soft spot for Kairi Sane. But the music is absolutely just wonderful. Icing on the cake for me and the whole gimmick, I think. However, the match was fast-paced to begin with. A really cool crucifix counter into a Samoan drop by Vanessa Bourne. The match slows down a bit after a little while as Bourne takes control and targets Sane's back. Kairi Sane dodges an elbow drop to regain control and comes back with a spear and her running forearm into the corner. Now, here's where I have a little bit of a problem with it, because Vanessa Bourne pretty much no-sold Kairi Sane's elbow, or her forearm. I'm not sure what they call that move. I heard Morrow saying it. I rewound it a couple times back. I didn't look it up, which I probably should have, but I'm not sure what that move's called. I couldn't make it out. But regardless, from what I've seen of Kairi Sane, and given it hasn't been a whole lot, the Mae Young Classic and a few NXT matches, that's one of her signature moves. I don't think that Vanessa Bourne should be getting up immediately, which is what she did. I mean, she held her chest a little, but signature move should do a little more damage than that, I think. So she mostly no-sells the thing, and then pulls Kairi Sane off the top rope. Sane reverses a roll-up into her modified Boston Crab, which she calls the anchor, for a beautiful submission win. That move looked absolutely wonderful. I am continuously growing as a fan of Kairi Sane. After the match, she cuts a promo saying she has and will continue to beat Shayna Baszler, and that she's coming for the NXT Women's Championship. Specifically, she says she will beat Shayna again, and the crowd chants again. So maybe that will be a bit of a gimmick going forward. I gave this match a 2.0 in my notes. I'm thinking maybe moving a little higher. No, I'm not gonna. I'll keep it at a 2.0. I do think it was better than Adam Cole versus Danny Burch. I have a problem. Maybe I'd rate it higher if it hadn't been for Vanessa Bourne's no-selling, in my opinion, of her Kairi Sane's forearm. So I'm going to get that at a 2.0. Next, we have Alistair Black, who is supposed to address Tommaso Ciampa to the NXT universe in the ring. I think last week, Tommaso Ciampa challenged Alistair Black to a championship match a couple of weeks from now. Backstage, an interview is taking place with Alistair Black as he makes his way from outside to the inside of the arena, but it's cut short by Johnny Gargano, who warns Alistair Black very desperately that Ciampa cannot win the NXT championship. Alistair sort of brushes him off, but Gargano persistently says that he cannot win the championship. Black pretty much tells him to mind his own business and continues to walk inside, where he is ambushed by Tommaso Ciampa, who places him on a trainer's table and DDTs him onto the concrete floor. Alistair Black is then tended to by some doctors, and after a short commercial break, we are told that he is being taken to a local medical facility, the classic medical facility. This was short, but I think it had enough impact to add to the show, especially adding 2 weeks from now. You know, the question is, will Alistair Black be able to compete? Will Johnny Gargano have some kind of interference in the match in any way? So I think overall it added a good bit to the show. I gave it a 2.5. For a while, I think these ratings will probably be largely inconsistent. I will try my hardest to keep them consistent, but it's a new rating system. I'm going to try to get used to it. Don't fault me if something seems a little inconsistent. I wouldn't take it too seriously. I'm not going to take it too seriously. But let's move on to the main event. Mustache Mountain defending their newly won NXT Tag Team titles against the Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. So the bell rings and immediately Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong attack Bate and Seven. They pair up and fight at ringside until Trent Seven's leg is slammed into the stairs by Roderick Strong, and he takes the action back into the ring. Seven's leg is rapidly targeted by Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong as they tag in and out, and while they prevent Trent Seven from tagging himself out. But eventually Tyler Bate gets the hot tag. He takes on both Strong and O'Reilly simultaneously, and at one point he gets Roderick Strong up for an airplane spin, and Kyle O'Reilly comes in and tries to stop it with a kick, but Tyler Bate catches his leg, throws him down, and begins to Cesaro swing him while Roderick Strong is still on his back in the airplane spin. I haven't seen that before. I'm sure he's done it, or someone else has done it at some point. But it was wonderfully entertaining to me to watch that. So that was cool. All this, meanwhile, Trent is being tended to for his knee at ringside by some doctors. And as a result, Tyler Bate doesn't want to tag in Trent Seven, even though he might be in some trouble. Bate, that is. Because he's hurt. And eventually, Tyler Bate ends up getting taken over by Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, and he needs the help, so Trent Seven tags himself in. For a while, he fights off both Strong and Kyle O'Reilly before his leg is again targeted, and Kyle O'Reilly locks in a vicious heel hook. It looked great. He got out, Trent Seven that is, only to be locked in yet again. I think it was also a heel hook. I'm not quite sure. I think Morrow said some kind of leg lock, but it looked like the same move to me at first glance. I didn't rewind it to check or anything, but Yeah, so he was locked in another leg move for several minutes at a time. Tyler Bate teases throwing in the towel. Trent Seven tells him, no, don't do it. But another minute or two goes by. At least that's how it felt. And Tyler Bate ends up throwing in the towel, getting in the ring, and telling the ref to throw the match. So we have new NXT Tag Team Champions by submission in Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly of Undisputed Era. And that's how the show closes. So for this, I gave it a 4, of course, because it is a Tag Team Championship match, a damn good one. And it'll be interesting to see where Trent Seven and Tyler Bate go from here with Mustache Mountain. I'm not sure I guess the whole point of putting the championships on Mustache Mountain was just for the pop in the UK. I don't really know. Maybe I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of it. Like long term, I don't see the point in putting the championships on Mustache Mountain. I know the UK tag team titles will be happening sometime in the near future, I think. So I'm sure they'll win those. They'll probably be the first to win those. But I don't think it's early enough for that to be a reason to take the NXT tag titles off of them. Especially if they just won it so soon. If anything, you just have them hold both titles. I don't know. Regardless, it was a wonderful match. I gave it a 4. And tallying up the whole show, segments included, a 1.5, a 2.0, a 2.5, and a 4, which is going to give us a perfect 10 for the first NXT. I'm not saying that the show was, again, no maximum to the rating. I just realized how terrible that sounded. I was more doing a Ty Dillinger reference. But anyway, that's my NXT review. I'm going to work on some ratings, graphics. I'm not sure what I'm going to call the system yet or what the 2.5 represents as far as stars or anything of that likeness. But that's the NXT review for July 11th. Thank you for listening. Leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to hear more. Again, I don't think I'll be doing this rating system on anything but NXT for now. But this has been CarAlarm. Thanks for watching.